Welcome back to Analytical Media. We are a consortium, a group of therapists, college professors, and well-published peer-reviewed authors. Today's question, this is a write-in question. Let me read what she's written. Blackmailing my boyfriend into staying with me after he domestically abused me. I have BPD. My boyfriend once domestically abused me 1.5 years ago. After it happened, I made sure to take pictures, videos, and to keep the bloodied objects that were used as well as the bloodied paper towels. I went to the doctor the next day to make sure that the situation would be professionally documented. I should have felt scared or angry or concerned, but I actually felt relieved that I had this metaphorical leash and collar on him. If he tries to leave, I can just go to the police, press charges with all the evidence, and destroy his life. He hopes his career will allow him to travel the world, which is hard to do with a criminal record. I wish I could give him back his freedom by destroying the evidence, but I'm afraid he'll leave if I do, and I don't think I can live without him. If it helps, I've tried therapy. I've tried DBT, CBT, and a bunch of meds, antidepressants, antipsychotics, and benzos. Of course, none of them work as well as booze, and weed do. Please, I would really appreciate it if no one mentioned active mindfulness exercises, retreating into my body, and experience the words through my sensory organs. It just makes me feel fat and sweaty, which obviously does not help. That is a reference to the two types of therapy she's in, or has been in, DPT and CBT. Dialectical behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. Those are mindfulness exercises, retreating into my body, etc., etc. Those are all part of the therapy, part of the treatment. None of them helped her, by the way, which might make one think she's beyond help or that neither of those therapies worked. This woman has no idea what a relationship is about. She mentions BPD, which I would take to mean borderline personality disorder, because her characteristics, her fear of abandonment, is emblematic of borderline. Now, underneath it all, she might be a wonderful human being. However, blackmailing her boyfriend, which she admits to doing, is a sure way to ensure that the relationship will end. Now, it may end with a breakup, or it could end with something very bad happening to her. People don't like to be blackmailed. And sometimes the only way out from blackmail is to get rid of the blackmailer. Literally get rid of them. If her boyfriend was my client, I would advise him to see an attorney, a good attorney, to go over all of this with a good attorney. We might even try to set her up as a blackmailer with the police. Blackmail is a crime, you know. He has not physically abused her in 1.5 years, according to her. And that was the only example of abuse, according to her. She should realize that he is going to resent that. Her threatening him over and over and over again, the constant threat that she goes to the police. However, if this is handled well, she's the one who could end up going to jail or being arrested. But she's saving nothing by blackmailing him. He may be there, but he's there by choice, not fear. This is a complicated and complicating circumstance for him. I'm sure he would like it to go away, and I'm sure he would like her to see the error of her ways. The only chance she has of maintaining this relationship is to stop the blackmail. If she has him arrested, the relationship is over. And if she holds the evidence, the relationship will be over. He must be free to stay or leave. He doesn't stay by choice, according to her thinking. I believe he does stay by choice, thinking it'll go away, enjoying the relationship. I don't think he's staying there because she has a metaphorical leash and chain around his neck, unless he's incredibly stupid. And the evidence, the video, the pictures, the bloodied objects, and the bloodied paper towels, I doubt that there's much evidence at all. Don't forget, she may have all these things, but it doesn't mean that it will add up to a convincing argument to the police that he physically abused her. I mean, if she has a video of him actually hitting her, that would be very powerful. But just to have bloodied objects, bloodied paper towels, and pictures of injuries would not do anything. It would do very, very little. And the fact that they've been together for a year and a half would dispel the notion that the abuse ever occurred in the first place. If that was in court, the very first thing the defense attorney would say as they're prosecuting her boyfriend, very first thing the defense attorney would say to her when she was on a witness stand would be, if he was abusive, why did you stay? If you were afraid of him, why would you stay? You could have left, you could have ended the relationship, but you held on to the abuser. You've admitted that you have blackmailed him to keep him in the relationship. You admit you can't live without him in your mind. You feel this way towards your abuser. There's quite a bit of doubt right there. And the more this goes on, if they're together 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you're going to be dealing with a statute of limitations. Every state has a different statute for how long a crime can be prosecuted. We don't know what state she's in, but many states, many crimes cannot be prosecuted after 3 years. We don't know, but this is all running out. Was a bad idea from the beginning to blackmail her boyfriend. He will come to hate her. Potentially, he may come to murder her. How many television shows or movies have you seen where people attempt to kill the blackmailer? What else can you do? You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to, whatever the blackmail is. You don't want that to happen. You can't afford to keep paying a blackmailer. You know you'll keep paying him the rest of your life. How many movies or television shows have you seen where then there's an attempt to kill the blackmailer? And you probably didn't feel too bad when a blackmailer got killed either, did you? No, you didn't. It's a criminal act, blackmailing. She could certainly be arrested for that. Maybe he's been gathering evidence to prove that she's been blackmailing him. Could be conversations, phone calls, written things where she says, she admits she's going to go to the police if he tries to leave her. That's it. That's all he needs. Now, he's got sufficient evidence to stop her from going to the police. Well, if you go to the police and claim that I physically abused you, I'm going to go to the police and claim that you've been blackmailing me with that physical abuse, that charge of physical abuse. It really wasn't me that did those things. Those weren't my pictures. You have no evidence. You have no eyewitnesses. Yeah, you got hurt. Somebody hurt you and you went to the police. And whoever that was, you should have had them arrested. But you never told me about it. Our relationship went on for another year and a half. We were happy. We were together. Does it make sense that you would blame the abuse that occurred to you on me as the perpetrator? It doesn't make sense. All you need is some doubt. You need one person not to go along with the guilty verdict. One person. 11 people say guilty. 12th person says not guilty. That's it. A case is dismissed. And of course, if it's important enough, it could be retried, but this isn't very important. This is sheer stupidity. She is achieving nothing by blackmailing her boyfriend. In her defense, I could say that if it is borderline personality disorder, it could be an abbreviation for bipolar, but the symptoms don't fit bipolar. It fits borderline. They have such a fear of abandonment, maintaining relationships. In fairness to her, wouldn't be unusual to do everything you could do to keep the relationship alive, because they do have such a fear of being alone. And she says that. But why you would want to press charges against somebody you've lived with for 1.5 years since that event? And who knows what guilt she may have had in that event? Who knows what he looked like? Did he have a bloody nose? Did she give as good as she took? Do you think that all women, when they're being abused, say, "Please give me another, sir"? Is there a more comfortable position I could maintain so that you could hit me more effectively and to please you? Is that what you think happens in a relationship? Or do you think that most women fight hard? They fight back. They might not be as big and they might not be as strong, but they've broken a nose or two. They've bruised and bloodied their attacker. When we look at a murder, when a woman's murdered by someone, most often she has defensive wounds, which is her fighting back. That's what defensive wounds are. She's fighting back in self-defense. That's what that is. And before we close the idea of the abuse, I have had many clients, and so have my associates. Ask a therapist, ask your therapist. I've had many clients where the physical abuse came from the woman and not the man. There are many men who will not fight back, won't do a thing, and the physical abuser was the woman that hit him with an object, with a heavy object, that threw hot coffee all over him, burning him, sending him to the hospital. I really think that most of you know that. You know someone who's been abused. And let's establish this. Physical abuse is wrong 100% of the time. It's not okay if he's abusing her for her to abuse him, or vice versa. If she's abusing him, it's not okay for him to abuse her. It's wrong, always wrong, completely wrong. Abusing any living thing is wrong. Abusing your cat, abusing your dog, abusing your child, abusing your wife, abusing your husband, always wrong. Physical abuse is a sign of something seriously wrong with a relationship. Sometimes people don't know any better. It's very unlikely to stop on its own. That's something requiring therapy. Physical abuse is never okay. And I remind you, it's archaic, it's juvenile to assume that the abuser is always the man. A significant number of times the abuser is the woman, especially if she's involved in a relationship where the man will not fight back. He'll just take it. She'll be hitting him, throwing things at him, stabbing him with a fork while he's putting on his shoes to leave the house. Oftentimes the physical abuser is the man, but not all the time. A significant amount of time it is the woman who's the abuser. I hope the writer of this question recognizes how wrong it was to blackmail her boyfriend. If you're going to go to the police, then by all means take pictures, videos, keep the bloodied object that was used as well as the bloodied paper towel. Go to the doctor to confirm it. Do all that. But only if you're going to the police, not for purposes of blackmail. And if I were her, I'd be careful to go to the police and press charges if he tries to leave. Because she has all of the evidence, she writes. Because of all the evidence I have. And I will destroy his life. Don't be so sure. This could backfire. And you could destroy your life. Or maybe you do destroy his life. But he also destroys your life in the process. It's just not that simple. It's very unacceptable to abuse your partner physically or verbally. It's despicable, never acceptable, it's disgusting. And it is always just as disgusting to blackmail your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And anyone who thinks that it's okay to keep someone in a relationship through blackmail, you had better see an attorney. You had better get into different therapy and talk about this in therapy. It's just a bad idea. This is Analytical Media. I hope everything's gone well for you. We hope you've benefited from this. We hope you'll help us by commenting, subscribing, passing this on to other people, share it. Having said that, take care. We'll see you as soon as we post again, hopefully. And Godspeed.